phone call for a cosmetic order. Is there a lady here?
Well, what do I look like?
Oh, Rod, you didn't have to bring flowers.
Danielle Spencer, best known as Kid Sister Dee from What's Happening, has died.
Danielle Spencer, best known for her role as Dee Thomas on What's Happening, is remembered by fans for her iconic acting. However, behind the scenes, her life was marked by immense personal struggles. In addition to her well-known battle with cancer, Spencer endured a life-altering car accident, chronic health issues, and ongoing medical challenges.
In terms of the car accident, I didn't even realize it until I woke up from my coma.
She was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2014 and underwent a double mastectomy.
This video delves into the untold story of Danielle Spencer's life, revealing the painful struggles she faced, far beyond what was seen on television. Danielle Spencer's journey into stardom began long before she fully understood the weight of fame. Born on May 29, 1961, in Los Angeles, California, Spencer's early life was a far cry from the world of lights, cameras, and the entertainment industry that she would soon become a part of. At just 15 years old, however, Spencer found herself cast as Dee Thomas, the bold, witty, and strong-willed younger sister of Raj Thomas, on the groundbreaking sitcom What's Happening, a role that would define her career and forever cement her place in television history.
Is this where I'm supposed to be?
If you're Dee Thomas, it is. I'm Dr. Claymore. Why don't you have a seat and we'll discuss your problem.
Look, first let's get something straight. I'm not here to talk about my problem. I've got no problems. I'm here for a friend.
What's Happening premiered in 1976 on ABC, and it became an instant hit. The show, which aired until 1979, was notable for its portrayal of a black family that was both relatable and dynamic, a sharp contrast to the stereotypical portrayals of African-American families in television at the time. The sitcom broke new ground by showing black characters as multidimensional, moving away from the limiting and often degrading roles that Hollywood had previously assigned to African-American actors. As Dee Thomas, Spencer represented the modern independent black teenager, intelligent, witty, and unafraid to stand up for herself. Dee wasn't just the typical sidekick character often found in sitcoms. She was a full-fledged, complex individual who held her own in the narrative.
When I was in California, you have the role, and I mean, it was just like my life changed, you know, because I'm originally from New York.
Well, for a little girl, you had a lot of sass.
Spencer's portrayal of Dee helped to define the character's sharp humor and confidence, making her a standout star. The character was an early and important example of positive black representation on television, offering viewers a rare opportunity to see themselves reflected in a way that hadn't been seen before. Though she was only 15 when she began playing Dee, Spencer quickly became a beloved figure in Black Hollywood. Her portrayal was groundbreaking because it gave voice to black teen girls, who had long been underrepresented in television roles. For the first time, a young black girl with intelligence, charm, and independence was the focal point of a popular TV show. Her character was relatable to audiences, both within the black community and beyond, for her sass, wit, and unapologetic self-confidence. Her success on What's Happening made Spencer a household name and led to a loyal following of fans. Dee Thomas became a role model for young black girls, offering them a glimpse of a life where they could be outspoken, intelligent, and full of ambition. Spencer's role was also important because it showed that black women didn't have to conform to societal stereotypes of docility or subservience. Dee's character challenged those norms, offering an alternative narrative of black womanhood on television. However, Spencer's newfound fame came with its own set of challenges. Being cast in such a prominent role at the age of 15 thrust her into the unforgiving world of Hollywood. As with many child stars, Spencer had to deal with the pressures of growing up in the spotlight. She was suddenly thrust into the limelight, facing the difficulties of balancing normal teenage life with the intense demands of being a working actress. The pressures were immense, and the line between her on-screen persona and real-life self often blurred. While the show garnered widespread acclaim, it was not without its controversies. Behind the scenes, What's Happening was dealing with issues like pay disparities and accusations of racism that affected not only the cast, but also the production. Despite the show's success, the cast members, including Spencer, were often at odds with the network over contract disputes and financial compensation. Many of the cast members felt that they were not being compensated fairly for their work, and this led to tension on set. In addition to financial struggles, there were also reports of dissatisfaction among cast members over how Black characters were portrayed in the broader media industry. The Black community had long struggled with limited and stereotypical roles for African Americans in Hollywood, and What's Happening was a rare opportunity to provide more complex and nuanced portrayals. But behind the scenes, the industry was still slow to evolve, and the cast had to navigate the systemic barriers that often held back Black talent. The combination of fame, growing up under the watchful eye of the public, and the behind-the-scenes tensions made Spencer's early years in Hollywood particularly difficult. While she was celebrated for her work as Dee, she was also confronted with the darker realities of fame, pressures that only intensified as she transitioned from child star to young adult. By the time What's Happening ended in 1979, Spencer had transitioned to veterinary medicine and experienced both the heights of success and the undercurrents of Hollywood's hidden difficulties.
Dr. Danielle Spencer David is back with us today to address an issue that cat owners need to be aware of. Good morning, doctor. Good to see you again.
Good morning. You too.
Although her time on the show had secured her place in the hearts of millions, it also marked the beginning of the challenges she would face in trying to navigate life after the spotlight. As the show ended, Spencer would find herself struggling to find her place in the entertainment industry, a theme that would continue throughout her career. Though she was a trailblazer as Dee Thomas, Danielle Spencer's career in Hollywood, like many child stars, was fraught with challenges. But despite the difficulties, her time on What's Happening was an essential moment in Black television history, and her legacy as Dee Thomas would live on long after the show's conclusion. The role helped her define an era of Black television, breaking new ground and providing a voice to young Black girls, paving the way for future generations of Black actors and actresses who sought to portray multidimensional characters in Hollywood. In the early 1980s, while Danielle Spencer's career was still on the rise, the course of her life was dramatically altered by a tragic event. At the height of her youth and fame, Spencer was involved in a horrific car accident that would not only change the trajectory of her career, but also cast a long shadow over her personal life for years to come. The accident, which occurred during a brief hiatus from What's Happening, would mark the beginning of a series of physical and emotional challenges that Spencer would struggle with for the rest of her life.
Well, I had a car accident 2 years ago, and I had spinal surgery subsequently.
The accident took place in 1982, a pivotal moment that struck at the heart of Spencer's flourishing career. She was driving home from a meeting when, in a split second, her vehicle collided with another car. The crash was severe, leaving Spencer with catastrophic injuries that would require immediate and extensive medical attention. The impact resulted in a broken neck, a fractured back, and multiple other serious injuries, including broken bones and severe internal trauma. The physical toll was immense, and Spencer's recovery would become a long and painful journey that would stretch over many years. In the immediate aftermath of the accident, Spencer underwent multiple surgeries to stabilize her spine and address the fractures in her back and neck. These procedures were only the beginning of a lengthy rehabilitation process that would involve years of physical therapy and medical treatments. The road to recovery was grueling, and Spencer found herself fighting not only for her physical well-being, but for a sense of normalcy in her life. The accident had irrevocably altered her body, and the once vibrant young actress found herself dealing with the reality of chronic pain and limited mobility. Despite the severity of her injuries, Spencer's determination to return to the public eye was unwavering. Her passion for acting and the desire to reclaim her place in the industry drove her to push through the pain. In 1985, she made a brief return to television, reprising her role as Dee Thomas in What's Happening Now?, the sequel to What's Happening. The show had a brief run, but it was clear that Spencer's time in front of the camera would never be the same. Her body, still in recovery from the car accident, was no longer capable of enduring the long hours and physical demands of acting as it once had. Spencer's return to television was seen as a testament to her resilience. Fans were impressed by her ability to come back despite the severity of her injuries. However, it quickly became apparent that the once energetic, youthful actress was now battling constant pain and physical limitations. Her health struggles were evident to those who saw her, as she had difficulty with the physical demands of filming and public appearances. The emotional and physical toll of the accident was written on her face and in the way she moved. What was once a promising acting career now seemed uncertain, as her physical limitations weighed heavily on her professional and personal life. The car accident's impact on Spencer went far beyond just her physical health. The trauma she experienced from the crash left deep emotional scars as well. She faced a psychological struggle that came with the realization that her body, once an instrument of her career, was now a source of constant pain and limitation. The demands of rehabilitation and recovery took their toll on her mental well-being, adding layers of frustration and isolation to her already complicated life. The transition from being a rising star in Hollywood to someone struggling to regain her physical and emotional health was not an easy one. For years, Spencer continued to fight, undergoing several more surgeries and physical therapy treatments. Each setback and recovery period took its toll, both on her body and her spirit. Friends and family admired her strength, but it was clear that the toll of the accident would linger long after the initial impact had faded. The physical and emotional struggles of recovery became part of her everyday life, influencing how she navigated the world both inside and outside of Hollywood. Spencer's attempts to continue her acting career, despite the injuries, revealed a deep inner strength. While many in her position might have retreated from the public eye, Spencer found ways to persist in the entertainment industry, even as her health continued to decline. However, her time in front of the camera would never return to the way it once was. The car accident, in many ways, marked the end of her career as the vibrant, energetic young actress fans had known. Yet despite the physical and emotional pain, Spencer's resilience never faltered. Her continued presence in Hollywood, even in a reduced capacity, was a testament to her determination and willpower. But as the years went on, the toll of the accident became increasingly difficult to bear. The persistent pain, ongoing surgeries, and the inability to regain full mobility limited her career opportunities. The industry, while initially supportive, was not designed to accommodate the challenges she faced. Hollywood, often quick to move on from actors who couldn't keep up with the demands of the industry, soon left Spencer behind. Her return to television and film was sporadic, and she faced a constant struggle to find roles that would match her talent and fit with her new reality. Her story reflects a harsh truth that many actors, particularly those in the spotlight at a young age, face. Fame can be fleeting, and even the brightest stars can find themselves sidelined by circumstances beyond their control. For Spencer, the car accident was not just a physical injury, but a life-altering event that reshaped her entire career and forced her to reevaluate what was truly important in her life. Although her career in Hollywood took a back seat, Spencer's personal strength and resolve were never in question. She would go on to face even more challenges in her life, but the car accident remained a defining moment. It was the turning point that marked the end of one chapter in her life and the beginning of a painful and difficult journey that she would continue to navigate with grace and determination. Years after the car accident, Spencer faced another battle, this time with her health. In the early 2000s, Danielle Spencer was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. Her diagnosis came as a shock to her fans, who had known her as a vibrant and energetic young woman. As the news of her cancer spread, public sympathy poured in. However, the details of her health crisis remained mostly private, and Spencer's fight against cancer became another tragic chapter in her life. Throughout her illness, Spencer underwent multiple surgeries and treatments, enduring rounds of chemotherapy and radiation. Her body, already weakened from the car accident, was now fighting against cancer. As she bravely chronicled her struggles with the disease, Spencer remained determined to fight, believing that her celebrity status could help inspire others going through similar battles. But the toll was enormous. Over time, the cancer treatments caused lasting damage, and Spencer was often seen in public with a frail appearance. Her once bright smile began to fade, and the familiar spark in her eyes dulled. She became a shadow of her former self, with few people outside of her close circle truly understanding the extent of her suffering. While she continued to work and advocate for causes like animal rights, her personal health crisis became her most significant struggle. It was clear that Danielle Spencer's battle with cancer would define the latter part of her life. Fame, for all its rewards, took a heavy emotional toll on Danielle Spencer. In interviews, Spencer spoke candidly about the struggles she faced being thrust into the limelight at such a young age. As a Black actress, she faced obstacles unique to her community, including a lack of opportunities and the pressure to conform to industry stereotypes. Despite her undeniable talent, she often felt limited by the roles available to her, and this fueled a sense of frustration that only grew as she grew older. After the accident, Spencer's emotional state deteriorated. The physical limitations imposed by her injuries affected her career, but the mental toll was just as significant. The constant pain, coupled with her inability to return to the same level of success she once enjoyed, led to feelings of isolation and helplessness. Though she continued to make public appearances and even attended events to promote awareness of animal rights, it was clear that her mental health was fragile. During her battle with cancer, Spencer's emotional state was pushed to the brink.
Even going through all of this, I still know that there's a plan for me. I'm still here for a reason. And that's what I had to think of, that, what I'm going through is for someone else, not for me.
The pressure of living with such a debilitating illness while trying to maintain a facade of strength took a heavy toll on her mental well-being. She became increasingly withdrawn and reclusive, often keeping to herself during the final years of her life. But the emotional impact of her career, coupled with the physical pain, made it impossible for her to ever fully recover. Danielle Spencer's role on What's Happening was groundbreaking, not only because of her performance, but also because of the cultural significance of the show itself. At a time when African American representation on television was minimal, What's Happening became a beacon for Black families across America. The sitcom's success in the 1970s made it one of the first to depict Black teenagers in an honest, relatable way, far beyond the stereotypical roles that dominated television at the time.
Well, I think it was a family show, and of course, we had subject matter that everyone could relate to, so that's always good. And of course, the characters are so lovable, so even Dee.
Spencer, as Dee Thomas, was a character who resonated with young Black viewers, offering them a rare opportunity to see themselves reflected in a positive light on television. As the younger sister of Raj Thomas, played by Ernest Thomas, Dee's role was pivotal in shaping the show's narrative. Her wit, charm, and sharp humor made her a standout character, and she quickly became a fan favorite and loved by people who knew her.
A warm soul who greeted everyone with this big, beautiful, energetic smile. She always took time to talk to people, always took time to greet people.
Dee Thomas was one of the first African-American teen girls on TV to display intelligence, strength, and independence. Despite her success, Spencer struggled to capitalize on the opportunities that should have followed. As Hollywood continued to box black actresses into limited roles, Spencer's career was often stifled, and the opportunities she fought so hard for never fully materialized. But her impact on what's happening was undeniable. The show went on to become a cultural touchstone, and Spencer's portrayal of Dee Thomas continues to inspire future generations of black actors and actresses. Though What's Happening was a successful show, the financial rewards for its young cast members were not as lucrative as they should have been. According to some sources, Spencer and her fellow cast members faced issues with pay disputes and poor contracts. Like many child stars of the era, Spencer was not compensated as she should have been for the long hours and hard work she put into the show. This financial strain only added to the pressures she was already facing. Additionally, the stereotypes imposed on black actors during this time took a significant toll on Spencer. Though she was immensely talented, the roles available to her were often limited to those that were demeaning or not representative of her true abilities. She often found herself in roles that played to stereotypes, and this only deepened her frustration with the industry. In the years following What's Happening, Spencer's career stagnated. The roles she once sought were now out of reach, and she faced the reality of being typecast in a way that limited her opportunities. Along with financial troubles, Spencer was left to grapple with the effects of a career that never fully lived up to its potential. These personal and professional struggles would haunt her for the remainder of her life. In the final years of her life, Danielle Spencer became increasingly isolated as her health continued to decline. The cancer that had ravaged her body seemed to have no end, and she found herself unable to escape the relentless pain and physical limitations. During this time, she lived a much quieter life, keeping out of the public eye as she focused on her family and health. As the illness progressed, Spencer's situation worsened. Reports indicated that she had become frail, her once vibrant personality dimmed by the toll of the disease. She continued to receive support from close friends and family, but she was rarely seen in public, and her appearances were limited. Though she had fought so hard throughout her life, it was clear that she could no longer bear the weight of her struggles. On October 27, 2021, Danielle Spencer passed away at the age of 60. Her death was attributed to complications from cancer, which ultimately led to cardiac arrest. Fans and fellow celebrities mourned her passing, remembering her as an icon of black representation in entertainment. But the true depth of her struggles, her health issues, her emotional pain, and her career challenges was far more tragic than most people knew. Danielle Spencer's life was much more than her role on What's Happening. Behind the smiles and laughter was a woman who endured immense physical pain, emotional struggles, and personal battles. From the car accident to her ongoing fight with cancer, her story serves as a reminder of the sacrifices black celebrities often face, bearing both fame and hardship. While her television legacy endures, it's the untold story of her strength, resilience, and heartbreak that truly defines her. May Danielle Spencer rest in peace, remembered not just for her iconic role, but for the quiet, courageous fight she faced every day.